Billionaire over here, NBA owner over here. So I was like,
What's going on? What's going on? Get myself here. As y'all see, I finally upgraded. We're gonna see how this thing work here. I tried to play my little intro video here from good old back in the days, and we're gonna see if this thing do what it's supposed to do. Cause it didn't do what it's supposed to do. That's interesting. But anywho, y'all, y'all know what's going down. I hope y'all got your stuff going for the Nets. What's this thing doing here? Next less than an hour now. Y'all know what's coming up. Hope y'all got order. But as you see in the title, everybody's been hyped all week about what's going on with Colorado. I had to put my little glasses, computer glasses, see. I'm saving my eyes. So, you sit here looking at these screens all the time and your eyes go to crisscrossing and all that good stuff. So glare in my eyes. But anywho, let me know you're in the building. Y'all, that's good Baptist saying. Not going to be here for long. Definitely can't be here for long. The game started at 1. But before we get into that, this has been a big week for Colorado. Y'all know I had to come on here. I was one, like many of you all, who say, man, this is not looking good. And it wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good at all. But you know what? I have to give a round of applause. Coach Prime don't pull one off. We don't forgot who Coach Prime was. His resources, he been looking real pitiful. I mean, a lot of close games. I don't know if y'all remember. I know I mentioned Coach Prime showed right before the last game. All the games they coulda, shoulda, woulda won. Starting at Georgia Tech. You got Georgia Tech. You have, I would say Houston. Houston wasn't really doing a whole lot until the end. It reminded me a lot how TCU and even in the Utah in a sense. A lot of these games took off at the end. But if you really look at all those games they lost, they were in position to at some point late in the game, third quarter, or even fourth quarter, a lot of them to take the lead and go ahead and win the game. It was like, here you go, Colorado. Now and then they end up scoring, back touchdowns or whatever late in the game, and it's like this new hire really made me think about something. 'Cause, I mean, I already saw it. We all talked about the scheme, and we all talked about all the different things that we felt from the offensive side of the ball. We say that offensive side of the ball, we felt like Schumer, all this sideway passing, lack of a running game, but sideway pass, not going vertical, um, not really taking the deep, not taking no deep shots really, as if you don't trust Salter and whatever, um, and just very predictable. And we compare that a lot to how Cleveland looked with Dylan Gabriel and everybody, right? But this is a team that struggled to really give anybody any significant threat outside of 10 yards upfield. So they just load up the box and just crash down on you. Salter kind of handled because his run ability, but as far as them rushing him, he was able to escape. But it put a lot of pressure on what could they run on the offensive line or whatever, because nobody was afraid of him going deep. They just didn't do it. So when you think about it, the offense, we would say, realistically didn't fit Salter. From what he's done before, we thought that they would customize the offense around Salter. We thought that they would, build it in a way where it was what he did best, what he was comfortable with. And we really thought that. Just like we thought Livingston was going to run the positionless defense. It's a whole nother story. When you look at Salter, he come in the game, you clearly see he's a better run threat. He can throw the ball decent at times, but just being a pure passer is like, So now you're looking at, okay, this new coordinator come in with this go-go. Everybody's excited about this go-go. Everybody's these people talking about it on every channel, and everybody trying to figure this thing out, showing film, and some kinky looking stuff. Definitely would have benefited. It would have benefited Colorado on a whole new level because they wouldn't have got all these running backs. They wouldn't have got Price. I don't know if Price got another year. People keep talking about Price. I don't know if Price got another year. But you look at Track Hall, and then you had Dallin. He was hurt. Then you put Cam Michael back there. You got Draylon. Your backfield really fits that. Your backfield really fits what's going on. What's going on? Your backfield really fits what's going on because when you think about it, we like to see the multiple back sets. We like to see, it's like sometimes it really last year or so, the best looking plays came with two backs in the backfield, especially besides Salter. Because now you got three run threats. All you had to do is build plays around. It looked like it was incapable. But with this guy come in, Marion, he come in with these kinky looking plays, man. Pistol with both of the running backs behind him, like in the, not like in like a, uh, in any type of power formation, but it's weird because they're like, instead of like, they like line up in a line. Like, what is this? Like, how do you account for that? Or like both of the running backs on the same side, or both of the running backs on that side, and it's like, whoa, like what is that? Like the matchup and the numbering is just off. You better really, really have your job together on defense. Because you gonna be, and then it's a lot of movement. We kept saying we want to see more movement. We want to see more uh motion and stuff like that, especially with the speed. Like with Gibson, want to put him in motion. You got Cam Michael. You ain't really benefiting from the speed. You even got Hodge, which you barely use, who's another quick guy that people underestimate. And you put him in there a little bit, in and out, whatever. So it's like with this go-go, just this past year, this offense and this record would have looked a lot different. Let me tell you how. Because when you look at it, we just said it was in those games. They just was really stale with these little rinky-dink routes and throwing the ball sideways and lack of a running game. It's just very predictable, and they can just stack the box and just crash your stuff. Very little. It added more motion this year compared to last year. I would say that, but just very plain Jane. Nothing threatening. Well, this guy, he used the tight end, put him in motion. He put the receivers in motion. It's just crazy. That right there alone would have made the difference in Colorado's ability to get through some of those games. But not only that, they would have been able to really benefit from Salter. And all the carousel with Salter and all of that, it wouldn't have been a thing. Because Salter would have ran this very well. Because he's very good with the run play, with run pass option. So he's very good with reading. He's very good with that, with managing the game from that standpoint. But for you to expect him to throw the ball down the field and score, and that be your main thing, like I said, we're trying to make a Shedeur out of him, or him trying to make a Shedeur out of himself, that's just not gonna fly. And that's why you seen, yeah, he can manage the game. It's just low scoring. But if you had to really implemented the game, I don't even know if the running backs would have been a little different. We lost both of the running backs, the type of running backs who really was doing well, Price and Track Hall. They was really explosive. And Hayden, he was just coming back from a hand injury. He was coming in back really slow. So, you got Welch. And then what that made you do is, okay, Welch is not that type of guy, so it brought back Cam Michael. Cam Michael ended up going in the backfield. He's an explosive guy. Man, if you had that type of play calling, I kid you not. Just looking at how the games went, that you wasn't scoring, and this offense is known to score on average 33 points a game. They running almost 300 yards a game. it would have really benefited this team. So just the change in coaching personnel in that alone would have impacted that flip this record around because the games were so close and the area that it would weaken this type of offensive coordinator is very strong in. And it just would have took a lot of pressure off the offensive line, the scheme, everything would have been different. And that was Colorado's weakness. No identity, no real scheme that really makes anybody lose sleep at night, except the people who the fans, I guess, because you don't really know who's gonna show up. And they was in the game, they just couldn't get over the hump. They was in the game, they just couldn't get over the hump. It was tight first and second quarter. The defense, that's a whole nother thing. But the defense, they hold them till they finally this. So they say bend on break, they finally break. So now you're in a situation where, okay, Colorado, if the defense able to hold and they was able to score more, they definitely would have beat. I feel like, okay, the Houston situation wouldn't have happened because you would have had the quarterback carousel. You would have beat Georgia Tech. You would have beat Houston. I believe so. I definitely believe you would have beat BYU. I definitely believe you would have beat TCU. He's right there with them. You definitely would have beat Arizona State. They didn't want to give you the game. It's several games. It's at least 6, 7 games. Now they won 3. They would have easily been an 8 and 9 win team. Even when you go down to the last game, they would have beat them too. Of course, they would have beat Kansas State. They would have easily been an 8, 9. I push it to 10 win. Because what am I missing? You beat Iowa State. You beat the little joint team. So you only really beat one conference team. But if we really look at it, Colorado's record. Let's look at Colorado's record. Because I feel like I'm missing something. Colorado football. You lost to West Virginia. That's another one you would have won. Arizona just stumped you, right? And that had a lot to do with what? Utah stumped you. You just went down there and got stumped. So Arizona, the way that look, the way Utah look, you want to beat them games. But Kansas State, you would have beat them. Arizona State, you let them pull away at the end, and it looked like they beat the mess out of you. But really, the game was neck and neck. It just really pretty much put up 3 touchdowns, 2, 3 touchdowns at the end of the game, right? The score is confusing, right? But I give you that. You would have beat TCU. You would have beat BYU, who ended up only beating you by a field goal. You would have beat Houston, who ended up beating you by 16, but they scored all them points at the end. You would have beat Georgia Tech. These are the things that people don't compensate for. What's going on? They definitely have to get corners because one, they're leaving. I know one of the cornerbacks is leaving, right? A couple of them, right? So the secondary definitely, but they got some good young boys coming in. They can play. Let me down last night about the rebound with the dog pound. Ohio State, man, Indiana ain't nothing to play with. They're a very solid team. Now, and that's the thing about it. Indiana quarterback is decent, but he's not as Heisman. He's not the typical Heisman. He's not what Shedeur and Cam Warden was doing, but he got a good team. And he made plays, and his team was well rounded. And they not the biggest team, they not the fastest team, but they well rounded. It's what we thought the Colorado should have been, right? They running back solid. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They not missing tackles, right? That's how you win, right? They not fumbling. He not throwing a lot of interceptions. That's how you win games, man. When you think about it, these teams that we watch, like we watch Georgia, when they win, very solid tackling teams. Colorado would have won these same games, most of these games, if they was a solid tackling team. They get out there and they make tackles, stuff them up, stuff them up, stuff them up. Then they turn around and just give up a long touchdown all on run. Boom. You're like, they just had to be consistent. The defense would have been decent. They showed they can tackle when they want to. And then they just choose not to. And a lot of it had to do with them getting out of alignment. A lot to do with the linebackers going in the wrong hole all the time. Really all these years. Right? So it's like, somebody asked me, Do you think Juju is sticking it? He could. I mean, it's up to the coach. They can make it fit. I mean, I remember when he was at UNLV and they lost this big time gunslinger quarterback because he was like, "Oh, they ain't pay me. They ain't pay me." He left them, and that team still went to the conference championship with a backup quarterback. So they tell you a lot about his system. And plus, them was not the same style quarterbacks. I think he can make. I think that first quarterback was more of a passer. He was an athlete, but he was more of a passer. And we ain't heard from that guy since, man. He want that money. Yeah, Indiana, they linebackers are solid. All of them solid. Of course, their cornerbacks are solid, right? They don't give up. I watched Indiana when they try to do that trick play when they not trick play, but when at the end of the game when they took that tight end, dragged him across from the backside, and then they same roster Colorado missed. Nobody was wide open. That safety came across, knocked that ball down. The linebacker picked up the running back out the backfield, and it was just that was big to me because that's exactly what Colorado don't do, right? Yeah, they not great. They good college quarterbacks. Yeah, they and I saw the same thing. Was it Auburn or one of them games? I think between Auburn, Georgia, or Indiana when they ran everybody off the field and ran the offense back on the field, and then they adjusted, and it was no panic. And then they had to call timeout. Then they came back in. I think they ran a play, but it's like watching simple disciplines, like stuff that we was doing at Little League. You, it's no excuse in the college. What's going on? There's no excuse what's going on. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like Ponder should have been gone. I feel like Ponder should have been gone at the end of the day. You know, that's the thing. I think he should have went on to HBCU with Vic or somebody. Like he would have been good there. Because I mean, I don't know if he's power four talent. I don't know, but I know he's decent. He can tell Jackson State up. Maybe he could have went to Sacramento State or somewhere. That's what I feel. Or UNLV. He definitely is one of these bigger size quarterbacks who do very good in a running system because he's a runner and he's big and he has a decent arm. So this system probably will fit somebody like him, but I don't know about his accuracy. But yeah, you put him in, he's a big dude. Actually, they go similar. It may be. It may be. I think people do underestimate Juju because they kind of automatically put him in the Shedeur box. Juju clearly will run the ball. And with the type of talent around him, it's gonna be hard to key in on him. If you got some real running backs, if you got some real running backs, yeah. From what I'm hearing, he got some people coming in still. People see y'all forget Cole Prime like the layer. He don't do everything at once. He like to send shock waves. So he gonna soak all this up. That's what he had Jordan Seaton do. Jordan Seaton rolled that thing all the way through. Right? He let anticipation build up before he knew he was going. Juju knew he was going. Coach Prime like to let anticipation build up. And like, oh, he would have got rid of defensive coach already. Not Coach Prime. It ain't no rush for him because it's July the 7th. I mean, it's December 7th. So what can happen is he can let all this ride because he like to soak all the juice out this thing. And he can turn around next week and do the same thing with the defense side about which I'm hearing. He bringing a few guys in that's going to shake it up. And this is what I'm hearing from other content creators and on their side. And people who are not even content creators. He got big moves coming for the defense. So don't be surprised if Livingston, because that they ain't necessarily gonna fit into what he doing. He gonna shake it up. Yeah, this new recruiter is known. He has a lot of weight. Even here in the Metro Atlanta area, he has a lot of weight. Um, yeah, the quarterback run a lot, but they can adjust it. They can adjust it to how they want. They can adjust how much that quarterback run. Because you think about it, man, you got three guys in the backfield, sometimes four. I mean, it's some weird stuff. It's some kinky. It's a lot of kink in there where it ain't just like only on the run option. It's part of it, but he got some kinky stuff going on. Like he got some quads over there with them stacked all up with the screen and movement. It reminds me of how Georgia Tech used to look the year before. There's a lot of movement and a lot of jet motion when Singleton was there. you got the pieces there. You got people like they got some young high school guys that's coming. Um, they have people like Gibson who's going to flourish better. You got Cam Michael who's going to flourish in this. Trackhawk is going to. He got people who are very speedy guys who can fit right into the system right now without you even talking about the portal. That's what I'm saying. The people who he had this year would have been great with Salter and all that. He had it. Price, all them, because these not super duper. You don't need super duper running backs, but these guys ran hard in this raggedy system. They would have towed this up. They would have had a lot of yards. Yeah, he saved this thing. Coach Prime knew what he was doing. Coach Prime knew what he was doing. He saved this out. He knew exactly. He said it's already in motion. No, one thing Coach Prime ain't is a dummy, and I think he looked like one when he getting whooped. And we forget he ain't no dummy. I'm like, man, he is in a bad spot. He's ahead. He's a strategist. So one thing we talk, he's still Coach Prime. Don't play with him like that. Don't play with him like that, and don't underestimate what he able to do. That's what he's showing you, and don't underestimate that he ain't got more to do because he gonna go overkill. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it went down. But also when they went down, the quarterback situation flipped. See, when they both went down, it was ironic at the same time. They couldn't figure out which quarterback they want to play. So it wasn't just that we lost the running backs. It was the fact that, you couldn't even figure out who was going to be calling from week to week. We was flipping 3 quarterbacks at that time. So you wouldn't have had that in this style offense because you would have known who was the best running quarterback. And he would have ran the mess out that ball. And probably would have, I don't know, everybody getting hurt. I don't know, this sweetness, cuteness, I don't know what. Maybe they wouldn't even got hurt. I don't know. They was too busy trying to be bruising downhill, man. With this offense here, they wouldn't be able to load up on our running backs like that. They would have created a lot of one-on-one situations with our running backs as well as our receivers. Because what they was doing, when they figure, oh, you can't run and you can't throw, we're going to bring everybody in the box and dare you to throw it in a claustrophobic area because everybody in the box. And like they can just load up on you and just come off the edge and blitz because there was no motion, there was no movement, and it was no alignment mismatches going on. Like, for example, this guy here running backs, he'll line your quarterback behind the center in shotgun, and the running back will line up right next to him, both of them sideways. So you got 3 people like this. How does a defense that just screw up your whole? How do you blitz that? How do you blitz that? You looking like, what in the world's going on? Because one may go this way, the other one may swing back around him and go that way. He may go here with he may fake here and go with the option, and somebody else coming off on the jet sweep. And it's like it's a lot of going on. There's a lot of that going on. Yeah, it's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of people gonna be running into each other because they're lined up and they go in motion. So you already lined up weird. How do we line up, coach? Both of us over here. Do both of the linebackers come over here? Okay. Then what happened to this guy going in motion? Okay. And then he come back. Then they lead block and he come back behind him. And it's like, oh, it's 4 guys over here and the 6 blockers. It's like, oh, shucks, we screwed. Just because he go this way, he can come back in the jet sweep. And both of them running backs over there can take off his lead blockers. Or both of the running backs can take off his lead blockers. The jet sweep can come back, and the quarterback can run behind him. Now you got 5 blockers, and it's like, it's going to create all kinds of lanes. It's going to create all kinds of lanes. And it's tricky because the alignments is going to be horrible. The run fit is going to be horrible because these kids are not that smart. And the coaches ain't either. And clearly it works. Now, if you add a good, accurate quarterback in there with that, so what we have seen. Yeah, if we have seen Juju, these little the go routes are a lot more effective, right? These little spot routes are a lot more effective when people are eyes in the backfield. When people are eyes in the backfield, what do? Because you watching this, oh, shucks, and the safety all looking like this. And that's when Amarion Miller is dangerous. Because you know he can throw it up and he can jump up and get it. You ain't gonna be able to double team him and all that because it's gonna be that safety gonna have to run that alley. Oh, he's gonna have to come down. Because if you do and they take off and lead blocking the other running back behind him and the other receiver actually blocking, and you got Jordan Seaton over there, and they say Hill's blocking, you got 5-6 blockers over here, and you got a pulling guard, and it's like poo 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 poo. And they're like, he gotta get in the game because they don't got mismatched. The linebacker don't got sealed because they're gonna seal the linebacker. And all the traffic come from the other side is trying to scrape. They're gonna seal it. Then they got pulling. Then they got the running. It already outnumbered over here. Then the runner is receiver actually blocking. That safety got to come down. So what happened when you pull it? You do that same thing. You pull it. It's a lose-lose situation. It's a lose-lose situation if he pull it. And say, I really think the team placed a lot of hope in Track Hawk. I don't know. I don't know if they placed a hope in him. I think Hayden going down right before the season with the hand, it made Track Hawk and Price have to do a little more. But again, that's the case with that style offense. If you got a style offense where you can't put one, cause 3 running backs can be in the game at one time. You ain't putting no weight on now one of them because they all are option, especially the quarterback know how to read. That's different than okay, you go in the game, you gonna take the most of the reps, and you gonna go in and take the rep, and we wait for Hayden to come back, and we want you to run off tackle, and the line, they ain't quite the scheme ain't quite beneficial, for them to really get people out the ball, and you just taking the beating your little self. Both of them go off with boots on their feet, versus playing to their advantage, their speed and explosion. Their explosiveness is what makes Track Hawk what he is. That's what have made a Dylan Edwards and all them what they are. The right scheme. This is the right scheme for these type of running backs because they get a crease, they gone, and they gonna have creases because it's gonna be a lot of movement going on, and somebody gonna get out of line. Man, I'm sorry. These are high school, doing high school kids. They just straight out of high school. Yeah, they 20 or whatever, but it's not easy to do. That's why this stuff is very successful. That's why the veer and wing tee, all these different things, pistol, all these things are very dangerous because all it takes is one person to get out of line and that quarterback catch it. And that quarterback is the quarterback. He is the cap. So if he good, you got a good quarterback who's good at that, he gonna run all over you. And if he run all over you, that's gonna make the other people run all over you because they're gonna be watching the quarterback. That's why Georgia Tech and King, all of them be able to do what they do because he runs that system very well. And they look for people like Colorado. And Colorado actually played pretty good. They played Georgia Tech close. Colorado problem was not that the defense didn't do good. They had turnovers and stuff like that that went their way. Colorado offense was not a threat. But if you had an offense like this, they would beat the mess out of Georgia Tech. Because they had a chance to go up on Georgia Tech 21-0 if they could have got the ball in the end zone. And Georgia Tech would have been in a position where they would have had to throw the ball. And at that game, we had interceptions. We had it was all over the place. They could have jumped up on Georgia Tech the way Pittsburgh did. Well, Pitt jumped up on Georgia Tech like that. They did what Colorado didn't do. Every turnover, they touchdown, touchdown, and that's what Georgia Tech was done. They not made to come back like that. They made to go toe to toe with you. Nah, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. You can't be out there, you know. Yeah, he better have him tackle because guess what? Last year, the year before, he done had them tackling. People like me been calling him out. Then he wait every year to halfway through the season. Oh, we gonna go full pass today. Well, you should have been doing that all season. If they got hurt, they got 6 months before they play. The more your body get used to tackling, the less you're gonna get hurt. One, your form gonna be better. If you don't know what you're doing in anything, you're gonna get hurt. If you don't know how to run, you're gonna get hurt. If you don't have the proper form when you run, you more likely to pull something. Because your form, your technique is horrible. If your tackling technique is horrible, you're more likely to get hurt. Right? Why all their hands got muffs on? Because you've been teaching them how to freaking tag and touch. They think tackling leads with the hands, not the shoulder pads and helmet. They think that tackling, that everything they do is reaching like a baby. Bye. Everything they do, they don't run into them with the helmet. Look at Georgia and all them. They boom. Hill Green, boom. Colorado, the first thing you do, you see their hands. You wonder why all their fingers and got nubs. You wonder why all their hands jacked up. Because all they do is hand tackle, arm tackle. They all getting hurt, hands and fingers. Your hands and fingers shouldn't even be doing the tackling. You should be wrapping up. Your fingers shouldn't be tackling. You want all your hands ripped off and fingers broke because you tackling with your doggone hands because you think that tackling initiates with reaching instead of running through them with your body. Why you got shoulder pads and helmets on if you're not going to use it? Y'all like that. I'm watching linebackers pull guys down by their waist. You struggling with the man. Y'all struggling to pull somebody down. He lift weights just like you. He ain't let you that put him down. You're supposed to run through him with your body. That's why they got all these doggone DBs with nubs on their hand, looking like Captain Hook out there with Dr. Hook. That's what's going on. And all go back because you ain't let them tackle all year. And one thing about that's how the human brain works. That's how that body works. If you're not used to doing something, one, you're not gonna be comfortable doing it, and two, it's gonna hurt when you do it. Take your butt up in the gym for y'all who like to talk but don't work out. Go up in the gym and it's gonna run your butt right up out of there. Cause it hurt. It's so you the one on they ain't worked out in 20 years. You thought it gonna feel good. You thought the muscles is not gonna respond. You gotta do stuff consistently for your body to be used to it. Tackling is definitely that. It hurts. Your body almost have to be callous to it. In your mind, running full speed into somebody is not normal. Just like people say about baseball, somebody throwing the ball at you 100 miles per hour, moving, and you'd be jumping out the way if you ain't used to it. How do they stand in the box? Even if they don't hit it, you'll be running from. You be swinging and running because you think it's gonna hit you. Because your eye think every time it come out your hand, it feel like it's coming at you. Now don't let them throw a breaking ball. So I play both. I play baseball and football. So football, same way. If you're not used to getting my neck was this big when I played football. My neck was this big when I played football. You wonder why people neck look like you got a helmet on. Your helmet got to be used to. That neck got to be able to handle that. My hands was twice as thick. My hands was this thick when I played football. My palm was like two of them. It was callous because I used to boom. I used to doggone go up beside people's head with my palm. You think I do that mess now? Oh. If I did that mess now, it'd be so tender and hurt. This used to be so tender when I used to train, but by the time I got the season, man, this thing here will be a weapon. A weapon. I would go upside the head with this palm. Wow. I ain't feel it. Because I did it all the time. That thing was sore until I trained to do that. From gripping and I don't use it. And my muscles, it's just like a little regular cute little hand right now. You still can see some of that thing used to be so doggone big. My grip used to be so strong. One thing about it, if I got grip on you, you weren't coming out of it. It's still pretty strong, but you weren't coming out of it. It wasn't but I wasn't comfortable because get what? Man, your finger get caught in that jersey. I had to tape my fingers because this finger don't turn sideways before. You grabbing this people's jersey, man, and that thing, that thing can turn your finger and you can break. That's why you out there with a nub. It'll break your finger. You don't supposed to be grabbing nobody's jersey. You better doggone hit them and wrap them up. Cause you grabbing they shirts and they pants and that, this gonna your jersey, your finger will get broke like that. Your finger ain't that strong. Some people stronger than others. My fingers was pretty strong, but it was limber too. So my finger would doggone turn into 360. I don't have it happen. And put it on the ground. So at that point, I couldn't tackle with my hands. I had to tape these fingers up because they turn easy. This one right here. So even if I did grab a jersey, that junk would be turning in a circle after I don't, can't do that. For absolutely. It's my thing. I know I did it. We weren't doing that crap. When you get hurt at practice when you on doing them. I got hurt on 7-on-7. We were hitting thudding up get you hurt. I've seen very few times hitting get you hurt. Thudding up gets you hurt because if you approach it the same way, the wrong way and don't right form, and you do something kinky and put your head down, you hurt yourself. Or you think you going 3/4, another guy going full speed. Why get confused? And he not gonna hit your behind for real. And I thought we was going soft. You go ahead and hit him, then y'all good because nobody ain't gonna get taken advantage of. Yeah, yeah. Did it work though? You saying that it? I mean, did it? You saying the drills, tap drills? Yeah, thuds, thuds don't do nothing. Tackling drills do. Thud and don't do what? How does the thud prepare you for a game? Does a thud count in the game? That's what they did. Well, did you not watch these guys for the last 2 years thud each other up? They thudded Kansas up last year. The guy thudded all through them. They hit them. Did they bring them down? They're good at thudding. They're professional thudders. Clearly, they're good thudders, but they don't tackle because they don't tackle. They don't know how to take a man down. They know how to let 4-5 guys hit him, and then he still score. He still get the first down. Why y'all? We looking at it. How do you let 4-5 guys hit a guy and he don't go down? Because they thudders. They're not tacklers. You gotta practice tackling like everything else. You can't thud at practice and then tackle in the game and expect to know the difference. You've been thudding the whole freaking summer. You talking about healthy? You're losing. You're losing. What's healthy about it? And they still get hurt. You ain't let them tackle in the fall. You ain't let them tackle in the summer. You ain't even let them tackle in the spring. So here these guys been here 4, 5, 6 months and they ain't tackled. And you say, go in the game and tackle. Said, who can blossom and go curl in the team? Going full speed the whole game, blocking fake. Well, like I said, them running backs, I don't know if they hit the portal or not, and what they're going to bring in. I think they're going to bring in a lot of guys. A lot of guys going to follow this guy. Transfer portal going to attract. And some of these people need to leave. Third is getting to the ball. Who cares if you get to the ball if you don't make the tackle? Colorado gets to the ball. That's not the issue. I mean, there is the issue from not reading, not scraping stuff like that from a linebacker standpoint, but they get to the ball. What are we talking about? Are we watching the game? They get to the ball, and then they dive at the ankles and swing their hand at them and try to arm tackle them because they're afraid to hit. They ain't come down and hit people in the mouth like how you saw Georgia hitting yesterday. And Georgia and Auburn was killing each other. But Georgia, too, they ain't no arm tackling going on out there. So, this is, you said NFL. This is not NFL. It's college. We're not talking about NFL. We're talking about college. And clearly it's a tackling epidemic. NFL expect you to know how to tackle already. There's a lot of stuff NFL don't do. Because they're trying to preserve their money. College, these kids coming out of high school, they still got to be coached. These kids coming out of high school, 18, 19, 20, they still got to be coached. They're not pros. How do you expect people still need to be? Because they probably, how you know they learn how to tackle properly in high school? They might not even have the proper form in high school or the form you want. So you assume that they learn from little league and high school how to tackle. So you just gonna let them just go thud, but they don't. They don't even. How you even know they how to tackle? Me running into you is not tackling you. What are you talking about? We don't watch these boys get quarterbacks run all through them. Quarterbacks run through them because they don't take them down. 3rd and 18, and he run through 5, 6 people and get the first down. And you say thudding. Well, they was there. Why they didn't take them down? They was right there. And he go through 25 arm tackles. They couldn't get off the field to save their life because they're good thudders. Being a good thudder is not enough. They need to get their butt out there and tackle. And learn how to tackle without getting hurt. And get their body used to tackling. Period. Because that's what tackling requires. You can't get out there and tackle and cry like a girl. Oh, I'm hurt. You got to get your body used to that. You gotta get yourself out there. I don't know if they at that place to go that low. Sometimes you're at such a high place, you gotta find somebody in there that can speak a language on a lower level. Sometimes you such an elite player, it's hard to communicate the bare basics. It's very few people can do that. That's why a lot of these coaches wasn't great players. Because they really good mentally at breaking it down. A lot of these guys who just talented, they just expect you to do it like them and think like them. That's what Coach Prime issue was. I want you to think like me. Think like I'm like how the work ethic I have. Very few people have that. Very few people are able to do that. So that's the challenge. How do you get people who can come to the level and break it down like baby food? Baby food. You know, baby food is how they think. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how long you've been here. I'm absolutely saying practice is the issue. I've been saying it for 3 years. You know, and how do you? What does your mindset develop at? You say not a mindset. Do you develop a mindset at the game, or do you develop it at practice? You practice uh, more than half the year to get ready for the season. What do you develop your mindset at? You say, how do you separate mindset from practice? Where's where's the mindset developed? How do you even get the confidence and do something if you don't practice it? Show me anything you do in life that you don't practice it, that you gonna be confident at doing. Anything. It ain't gotta be football. Show me anything in life that you can do without practice. That you're gonna be confident at doing it and not practice it. I don't care if it's the least physical thing ever. The thing that you do the most is what's gonna make you confident at doing it. If you throw me out there, I don't care how great I am as a I'm sitting here 40, right? I can sit here and run my mouth and talk about. I know the difference. I'm not gonna sit there and act like I know how to. That I know my body hasn't did that. I know the pain I would have to go through to get back in the shape that they're in right now. My shins, my knees, my ankles, from the fact that I used to do it every day from the time I was 6 years old, year round, right? Not year round. I played baseball and football, but my body did it. And then right with football, I had to get back in football shape. But it was like young too, right? That's another thing. You can recover quicker. But if I'm not, even on the baseball, if you take a couple years out of baseball, you swing a bat, all this hurt. Feel like somebody beat the mess out of you with a bat, right? Your body gonna be like, oh, if you slide, like you used to slide, and then you ain't play ball and you slide, feel like you sliding on concrete, like somebody don't hit you on football field. I experienced it when I played football in college. I went back to play baseball, and everything hurt because I ain't really did it like I used to. And I ain't that old, but it's just your body got to be used to everything you do. Whatever sport you do, that's what training, that's what people understand what training is. You're training your body and your mind is involved. If you're not able to do it, if you're not able to do it, then your confidence is not going to be there. Your confidence is not going to be there. Your confidence comes from the fact that you put in the reps to do it. You have to have the repetition. You talking about mindset? That's a recruiting issue, man. If you ain't recruiting some people who are supposed to be there, then that's irrelevant. If you recruit a Division III player to the Power 4, that's relevant. The point is, if you recruited these guys here, they're supposed to be able to do it. So mindset, what are you talking about? If they don't have a mindset, they shouldn't even be there. So that's like trying to make something out of it. Like if they're not a caliber of a player, that's a recruiting issue. But if you're down on the field, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that if I take 6 months off of doing something, that my mind is gonna compensate for it. And the other guy who's doing that, he's gonna be better at it because he has the reps. He don't have the mental reps of doing it. He has the reps of doing it. You're putting me at a disadvantage, not giving me the reps. That's what they talked about with Shedeur, which we finna transition into. Shedeur sat there with no first team reps. Everybody complained. What's the big deal? Shedeur sat up there. Dylan Gabriel got all the reps. And then they let him get first team reps with Flacco, and then Pickett was out, and then Flacco was in, and Dylan still getting, and Shedeur throwing in trash cans, right? Those are reps. No matter mental rep was going to change. How do I throw the ball to this dude? How's his body movement? Should I say how do his body movements work? What is his speed? How do I kind of timing and all that? If I don't get to work out with this dude, how do I really get to gauge it? I got to get the reps there. That's at practice. You can't tell the man to go in the game and do something he ain't did at practice. That's what the chemistry is for, right? So in routes, that's in tackling, that's in blocking. Your how you practice is going to determine. Coach Prime got that right? But he's shooting himself in the foot because the contradiction is you're exposing yourself by how you practice. You saying practice is gonna show me how you play in the game, but y'all ain't tackling. And y'all the worst tackling team out there. So you have to change how you practice. Y'all already they don't limit you to 1 hour of practice because you only can split 4 hours a day. Y'all need to reschedule that. Y'all need to have a longer practices because your game ain't an hour. That's another thing I said about them. Like they play for like 3 hours. They only practice for an hour. They need to quit all that talking and then spend all that time on the field so they can get used to being on the field for 3 hours. Because that's how we practice. We was out there 3.5 hours. So your body's used to being out there that long. They go out there and practice for an hour. I'm like, we only got an hour. And I figured that's because how they broke down their time. They got to spend their time with meetings and all that evenly. You only got 4 hours a day. Well, y'all need to have some days when y'all out there for 3 hours, sir. I know y'all listen to me because y'all talk about the nighttime buffs and daytime buffs and all that. So y'all need to have at least one day a week y'all out there for 3 hours. Y'all did not talk, no watch no film that day. Y'all need to be out there for 3 hours. And then spend the other hour watching film. Don't have no meeting that day. See, that's the kind of stuff you got to do. Your mind has a big part on it. But at the end of the day, if you don't get your butt out there and do it, you're going to have to climb that mountain. Shedeur's got an opportunity of a lifetime coming up in 7 minutes. I was wondering, NFL is the dumbest people ever, right? NFL is the dumbest people ever. They wasted all that money. Everybody want to see Shedeur. Maybe they want to make you want it. They find a flip they with and put Shedeur in, and this guy keeps. Not this NFL because it ain't just Stefanski. They decided to let this boy play this week. We wonder was he gonna make it out there to get to play against Cam Ward. Probably gonna be the most watched game in a long time. They former training partners. They both was fighting to be the number one draft pick. We thought they gonna be number one, number two, one way or other. And this went up when one went number one and one went 144. The biggest joke ever is about to be exposed in a matter of minutes, y'all. Because now Shedeur gets to redeem himself. If no other time he get to redeem himself, he get to say, I'm gonna do not only what he do, but better. And y'all told me I won the top quarterback. Well, look what I just did. We both on sorry teams. We both got sorry records. My defense a little better. They finna hound his butt. They finna give Cam Ward a run for his life. Because one thing Cam Ward is not good, and I said it last year when he went against Georgia Tech. Cam Ward is not good against the pressure. Shedeur always been good against the pressure. Because that's all he is able to do. And his line won't work for crap. Cam Ward, he looks like a whole different dude when you put pressure on him. And that's why he ain't really doing that well. I told y'all I was only one quarterback in that draft that do well against with a bad team. And that's why he should have been number one. Because most number one teams are garbage. They don't have a line, and he's mentally and physically capable of dealing with it. He's shown it. Cam Ward, on the other hand, he ain't necessarily built to have to carry a team like that. He didn't do great against Washington State. And Miami had a line of amazing line for him to sit back and throw that thing. But that's not the type of team you get when you go number one. That's why I said y'all need to let these boys go in the second round or something, late rounds, because they're gonna go to a team that's sorry, and they're sorry for a reason. And when you sorry, you definitely not blocking and tackling well, or you definitely not scoring, because Cleveland can tackle, but they can't score. So they need a quarterback. But why are you not scoring? Your scheme is jacked up, and your line probably ain't hitting on nothing. So Shedeur's gonna get to show you this is what a number one quarterback look like. Somebody who can make lemons out of lemonade. Shedeur got starting lineman hurt. He got weird coaching situation and scheme. And he's gonna get to show this is what I'm gonna do with it. And Cam Ward, this is what you don't do with it. You go out there and you win in 1 or 2 games a year, and you don't know what to do with it because you're not built for this situation. This is what I'm looking forward to as we close out. Shedeur is able to go out there, not only win, but redeem himself as someone who they say is a fifth rounder. Well, this fifth rounder has a chance to go out there and outdo the first rounder, not just with the win, but with performance. And we're going to see what goalposts get moved and what excuses are made. You're going to say his line better, his team better, because they ain't been winning. It'd be nice he's on a winning team. He say, oh, well, they just got a better team. We know they got a better defense. And I hate it for Cam Ward. I wouldn't want any rookie to have to go up against Miles Garrett and all them boys. They run the best of them down. And I just hope they cut, like they got Shedeur up there on the billboard. Let him loose. Don't do that crap. You got him throwing 20, 30 balls, not even 30 balls, and you let Gabriel them throw 50, 60 balls. You got no excuse. Now, I don't know if it's snoring up there again. It probably is. But you got no excuse not to let this man loose. Sit up there and treat him like you should have treated Gabriel. And let him throw. And don't let him throw all these little short balls. Let him throw the ball and let him get a fair shot to show what he can do. And quit handcuffing him and taking him off the field for short now and limiting what you do. A lot of these teams, they bootlegging on these short. They everybody pile up and then the quarterback bootleg and throw it out the tight end wide open. You can't do that when you take the quarterback out the field, put the tight end under the center. You can't do that when you put the running back under the center. They're just killing themselves. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to go get myself ready for this game. I hope y'all are able to see it. We're going to definitely be talking about it. Maybe later, inspiration, motivation. It's going to be some inspirational stuff going on. I'm just Greg. Greg said it. Appreciate y'all coming through. With that, y'all have a good one.